Hey everyone, I hope you're all well. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on the basics of how to do cubic right angle weave, which can be quite a tricky stitch when you first start out. So I'm going to hopefully show you today how to do it and try and make it as simple as possible. So in last week's video I did show you how to do flat right angle weave, and this is similar but it's a little bit different. But if you wanted to go and watch that video first, so you're familiar with the basic flat stitch, that would be really helpful. Because cubic right angle weave basically has 4 sides of right angle weave units. If you can see those little units there, every time you turn it, it's got 4 sides of those units, and it's like a tubular kind of stitch. So it's really good for bracelets, necklaces, all sorts of different things really. So I'm going to show you a few examples first of all. So you can do cubic right angle weave with all the sizes of seed beads. So this is with size 15, tiny size 15 beads. It's fiddly. You can also do it with size 11 like these two. Size 8, which is these two. It's a really nice size. I think size 8 makes the nicest rope. Again, this is size 11, and then I switched, because I ran out, I switched to round beads, so you can also do round beads for this stitch, that will work fine. This again is size 11, so it's really good for necklaces. I really like it for necklaces because it's very flexible once it's made, so it does hang really well. You can also use size 6 seed beads like I have done here, and then in between I've done size 11s. You can swap sizes, so on this one I've done size 11s, and then every so often I've swapped to size 8s, so it gives a sort of wavy effect. Same with this one. But I've used crystals, so as you can see you can use rondelles. I think pretty much most shaped bead would work for this stitch. I just wanted to show you this that I made as well, so you can use it to create different shapes, not just bracelets and necklaces. It's really good. You can finish it with a clasp like I have done in this one and these two, or you can do a continuous bangle, and cubic right angle weave is really good for this because it's seamless. You can finish it together like this without having any idea where you've closed it, so that's really good. So I like making bangles with this stitch. It can also be adjusted to be wider by having a base of 5 or more beads instead of 4, but then obviously it's not cubic anymore. I think they call it prismatic right angle weave, don't quote me. So those are all the examples that I just wanted to show you of how it looks. I think it's a really nice, it's a really neat stitch, especially when you use round beads. You can see here, I just love it. It's one of my favourites. It is quite time consuming. I mean, necklaces take a long time to make, whatever stitch you're doing really, but this is quite time consuming. Which is why I have a lot of bangles, because I always set out with the intention of making a necklace, and then once it gets to bracelet length I think, oh, I think I'll just stop here actually. I do that all the time. But now I've showed you some examples, I'm going to get into teaching you how to actually do the stitch. Like I did on the flat right angle weave video, I'm going to show you how to do this using size 6 seed beads because they're easier to see, they're a bit bigger, easier to see what I'm doing, but like I said at the beginning, you can use any size, and it's best if you use a good brand that has good uniform sizes, so all the beads are the same size. You don't want one this size and one long one, because that will really distort the shape of your stitch. So I'm going to start by threading my needle with just a little bit of thread to show you, just enough to show you how to do this. And I'm using Fireline. You can use which thread you prefer, Fireline or a similar strength of thread is really good for this because it holds the shape and doesn't collapse inwards. So I've threaded my needle, and there's a couple of different ways, or maybe a few different ways even, that you can start this off, and I found it quite tricky to start with. I think getting it started is the hardest part, so I'm going to show you two different ways that I've found that work for me. One of them I think is probably the most common way to do it, and the other one is just another way that I've found out that I can get this started, but I'm going to show you the most common way. Well, I think it's the most common way to do it, first of all. So if that one doesn't work for you, just keep trying, try it again and again, because it takes a few tries sometimes, and if not, then you can try the other way and see if that's any easier for you. So I'm going to start by picking up 4 of my size 6 seed beads, and then I'm going to slide those down. I'm not going to leave much for tail because this is just a sample piece, so I'm going to sew up through the first bead to make one of our right angle weave units. Then I'm going to travel through the next 2 beads in the circle, just so that I'm working away from my tail thread, like that. Now I'm going to pick up 3 more beads. Coming out the top of this one, you're going to go into the bottom. So this is just flat right angle weave at the moment. So we have this. So now I'm coming out of here, I'm going to sew through the next 2 in the circle, one at a time, to keep it neat. Pulling it tight, and keep your tail thread held tight as well so it doesn't unravel at the other end. Now we've got 2 little units, we're going to do 1 more. So we're going to pick up 3 more beads. This time you're coming out the bottom of this bead, so you're going to circle around and go through the top. So we have this, and then I'm going to go through the next 2 beads. So through 1 and 2. Okay, so now we've got this. Now what we're going to do is create the 3D effect. We're going to fold it. So you see that this bead that we're coming out of, we're going to fold that over so that it meets the other bead at the other end that our tail thread's coming out of. So fold it over like that. You can see that I'm just folding it in half. I'm going to hold it between my thumb and my finger. So you're holding it like this, and you've got your working thread coming out of this bead and your tail thread coming out of that bead. So if you get yourself into that position before we carry on, now hold it tight like this, keep your threads pulled nice and tight. You're going to pick up 1 bead, and this is going to be our last unit. So we've already got 2 beads, but we just need to put a bead at the top and the bottom. So we're coming out the bottom, so we're going to pick up 1. You're coming out of this one, so you're going to go up through that one that your tail is coming out of, like that. Okay, it's important that you keep holding on to it or you can get lost where you are. Pick up another bead. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, and we just need to add the top bead. So we're coming out of this one, we're going to go into that one on the other side. Like that. Okay, keep holding it between your fingers and pull it tight. So now that's our last little unit. If you let go of it now, you can get lost because there's so many different sides. So keep holding it like this. All of these are all joined together, and all the ones around the side are all joined together that we originally made, but these beads on the bottom and these beads on the top are wobbling around, so we're going to join those together. So you're coming out of this one here, you're going to go down through that bead on the bottom, like that. Keep your tail thread out of the way. Now you're coming out of this one on the bottom, so I'm going to just turn it so that that bead that I'm coming out of is at the top. See, you've got 4 beads here, but none of them are joined together at the minute. So you're going to join all 4 of those beads together. So I'm coming out of this one, I'm going to go down through this one on the side, through the one on the bottom, the one on the other side, and through the one on the top again. So now they're all secure, they're all joined together. Now we're going to turn it back this way so that you're now on the bottom bead again. We're going to go up through that one on the side, through the one on the top. Okay, holding it tight. Now we're going to turn it down again. So you're turning it at a right angle, so that bead that's at the top of your unit at the minute is now at the bottom there. So now we've got these last 4 beads that aren't joined together. So I'm coming out of this one at the bottom, so I'm going to go up through the one on the side, through the one on the top, and through the one on the side, and back through the bottom one. Pull it tight, and now you can let go and pull both your threads tight, because now every single side, all the 4 beads that need to be joined together are all joined together, and it's a little cube. So now we're coming out of this one here, find the one that you're coming out of again. Coming out of this one, now we're going to grow it. So you're going to start by picking up 3 beads. So you're coming out of this one, you're going to go back into that one that you're coming out of on the opposite side. So my thread's coming out of this side, so I'm going to go into it on the other side. And that creates a little right angle weave unit. So these are going to be your 4 sides. So you're going to have right angle weave units coming up here, 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 and here. And that's going to make the cube shape. Okay, so now you're coming out of this one in the bottom here, you're going to go through the next one in that group of 4. This time you're only going to pick up 2 beads, because if I turn it this way so you can see, so this time I'm picking up 2 because I've already got the 1 bead at the bottom, and this bead is going to be shared between this side and this side, so we only need to pick up 2 more. So I picked up 2 more, and you're going to go down through that one on the side, like that. Now you're going to come across the bottom one again, okay, and then turn your piece around. You're going to go through the next one in that original group of 4. So the next one there. So again we've got 1, 2, so we're going to pick up 2 more. So we're coming out of this one, and we're going to go down through that one on the side again, like that. And then back through the bottom one. Turn your piece around again. So this is the last side, so we're going to go through that last bottom bead. Now this time we've already got 1, 2, 3, we've already got the 2 shared sides, we only need to add the top bead. So I'm coming out the bottom one, I'm going to go up through the side without picking up a bead, then I'm going to pick up my last bead. I'm going to go down through that side opposite, through the bottom one, and there, as you can see, now we've got 2 units. And there's a right angle weave unit, and there's one, and it's got 4 sides. Okay, so you're coming out of the bottom here, I'm going to move up through the one on the side, Now up into one of these on the top, either this one or this one, it depends whether you like to work clockwise or anti-clockwise, and I'm going to go through this one because I like to work clockwise, I find it easiest. Now you can circle through all 4 of those beads on the top, like that. So then you're in position to start adding another unit, so I'm going to show you that again quickly. So for the first one you pick up 3 beads, go back through that bead that you're coming out of on the opposite side. There's our first right angle weave unit. Now you're going to move your thread through the next bead in that top circle. This time we've already got 1, 2 beads, so we're going to pick up 2 more. Coming out the bottom bead, you're going to go down through the one on the side. That's created our second unit. Back through the bottom bead, and then move round to the next bead in the circle. Again, we've got 2, so we're going to pick up 2 more to make our 4. So we're going to go down through that side bead, so we've got this, back through the bottom one, turn it round, so this is our last side. We're going to go through the bottom bead, up through the one on the side, because we only need to add 1 more bead to make this into a right angle weave unit. We're coming out of this one, so you're going to go down through the, down through the other side, through the bottom, up through the side, and then circle through those 4 on the top to bring them all together. Then you're ready to add another one. So that's what you're doing, you just keep going and it just keeps growing. So that's the first way to start it. I'm going to show you the second way now. Okay, so I'm going to show you a different way to start it. This way I find it easiest if I'm doing more than 4 beads for the base. So if I'm doing the prismatic right angle weave or cubic right angle weave, yeah, I find it easier if I'm doing 5 or 6 beads to do it this way, but I'm going to show you today with 4. So pick up 4 beads like last time, slide those down and sew through the first one to make your right angle weave unit. Okay, and just to stop the tail thread from coming undone at all, I'm going to go through those beads just once more to keep it tight so I don't have to worry about that coming undone while I'm working on it. And then I'm going to move my thread around 2 extra beads so that I'm out of the way of the tail thread as well, just for now. So we've got this. So it doesn't matter which bead you're coming out of, by the way. And you're going to pick up 3 beads. So basically how you start this way is the way that I just showed you how to carry on growing once you'd made that little base cube. For some people I think it's probably harder to hold it this way because you don't have that cube, but I actually find this way easier than trying to fold it and then join up all those loose beads, which can really get confusing. So anyway, pick up 3 beads and you're coming out of this bead here, you're going to go into it on the other side. So now you've got this. Then we're going to move through the next bead in our original little group of 4. Okay, so now you've got your 2 little right angle weave units and you're coming out of this one here on the side. You're going to pick up 2 beads and then, let me turn it this way. So we're coming out of this one. You're going to pick up 2 beads and you're going to go into this one in the unit above. So the one on the side and through the one that you're coming out of. That. Pull it tight. and if you encourage them to sit up, you should have this. Now you're coming out of this bead here, you're going to go through, that next bead on the bottom. So you were coming out of this one, you're going to go through that next bead. Now you're going to pick up 2. You're coming out of this one, you're going to go down through that one on the side. Back through the one on the bottom. Turn it round. Now you're on your last side, so you're going to go through the next one on the bottom. So we have this, up through that one on the side, pick up 1 bead this time. We're coming out of this one, you're going to go down through that one on the opposite side, back through the one on the bottom, up through the one on the side, through the one on the top, and these are the only 4 that aren't joined together, so I'm just going to circle through all of them to join them together. So that's another way of making that initial cube. So yeah, that's the second way that you can make that little base unit. Like I said before, on the first method that I showed you, once you'd done that little cube and then you used the 4 beads here on the top, and you started by adding 3 on the first one, 2 on the second, 2 and then 1. It's exactly the same as that, except you've not got a cube to hold on to, you've only got the 4 flat beads. Which is why it can be a little bit tricky. I think once you've got the hang of the first one, maybe after you've learned how to do the stitch and you've got practiced it and got used to it, then I think that this is a quicker way to get started, but it might be a bit more confusing for beginners. So I would recommend the first method, unless you really can't do that and you find this one easier, obviously, then go ahead. Yeah, and then the same with this one, you just carry on growing the stitch like we did in the other one. So if you need to go back and rewind and watch how to do that bit, then go ahead, and that's it really for this video. So I hope you found it helpful, and I'll show you some of these examples on the screen again. So it's really good for making so many different things, and I like making necklaces and bracelets, as you can see. The best. And I love it because you can use all different size beads. So I hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful, and you're able to make something with this stitch, which is a really nice versatile stitch. So let me know if you do, and follow me on Instagram at Beading by Hannah, and comment down below what else you'd like to see, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of my videos. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye!